everyone. I'm Jenny Bhatnagar. I'm a microbial ecologist, and I'm a professor in the Department of Biology here at BU. Next slide. So you might wonder why an environmental microbiologist would be interested in cancer, and it's because, we are not only human, right? We know that we're also largely microbial, and who we are, including our own resident microorganisms, really depends on who is around us. So you can see that here in some work done by others, where you live, the type of landscape that's around your house can actually determine the type of microbes that live on your skin and live inside of you. And those microorganisms that live on your skin, for example, can determine your response to allergens. It can determine the type of inflammatory cytokines and the abundance that are produced on your skin. And in this particular study from 2012, this was associated with skin disease, atopy. And what you can see here on the right is that the diversity of microorganisms in this particular lineage, proteobacteria, that live on your skin is directly related to how close you live to forests and agricultural land. So this is the case for the skin microbiome. There's some evidence that it might also be the case for other types of microbial habitats in the human body. Next slide. So the best evidence for this comes from animal models. People have taken little mice, cleared out their gut microbiomes, and then put them in different types of environments with different types of environmental biodiversity. And you can see on the left the number of species, that's the OTU, the number of species that live in the guts of mice increases as the mice go from living in a pathogen-free animal room to an animal room with lots of other mice to a farmhouse with lots and lots of other types of animals. You'll see this gut diversity increasing. And then when you take these little mice and you treat them with a molecule to stimulate allergic reaction, only the mice that have these diverse gut microbiomes can suppress that allergic response. Since diseases like colon cancer can develop in like inflammation, under inflammation situations or conditions, there's some speculation that maybe where you live and who you live with in terms of your microbes that live around your house could actually determine how your body responds to allergens, the type of autoimmune disorders you might have, and ultimately the likelihood of your body developing cancer. But this is still a hypothesis. Next slide. There's something called the Biodiversity Hypothesis, which suggests that the rise in certain cancers, for example, colorectal cancer, might be linked to declines in exposure to a diverse environmental microbiome. And you can see that here. On the left, you see the incidence of colorectal cancer as a function of the Human Development Index, or basically how industrialized a nation is. It turns out there are a lot of things that happen when a nation industrializes, but one of the things that happens is intense urbanization. And that leads to a reduction in our exposure as people who live in cities to a diverse environmental microbiome. And you can see that on the right. So on the right, you're looking at the diversity of microorganisms that live in soil in 4 different countries in Europe. And in each of those countries, as you increase the level of urbanization of a location, you see a steep decline in the number of species that soil can hold. We don't know why this is. And this is an active area of research in my lab. But we also want to address this question. Could these declines in the environmental, in the diversity of the environmental microbiome be in any way related to shifts in our own microbiome, shifts in our own immune responses, and shifts in our risk of disease? So to address this question, next slide, our lab is hoping to work with the Black Women's Health Study. This is a great opportunity where we have wonderful data on disease incidence in, oh, my time is up. Oh, okay, in women. And we want to link it to their environmental microbiome, where they live in the United States.